Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Cold War drama this hour, Dana Andrews starring in an episode of I Was a Communist for the FBI. This goes back 70 years to June 11th, 1952, and the American Kremlin.
I was a communist for the FBI.
Starring Dana Andrews in an exciting tale of danger and espionage. I Was a Communist for the FBI. From the actual records and authentic experiences of Matt Cvetic come many of the incidents in this unusual story. Here is our star, Dana Andrews, as Matt Cvetic, who for 9 fantastic years lived as a communist for the FBI.
In all these fantastic years, fear was my worst enemy. The average man in the normal course of events comes face to face with fear only a few times in his life. But I faced the terror of fear almost constantly for 9 years as a communist for the FBI.
Now, here is Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, undercover man. This story from the confidential file is marked The American Kremlin.
An early spring afternoon in a large Midwestern city. The sun has found its way through the haze that shrouds the downtown business section and is drying the remnants of a morning shower. I decide to walk from my rooming house to the meeting at party headquarters, an unobtrusive address on an undistinguished side street.
Yeah, mister?
No, thanks, cabbie. I'll walk.
I think you better ride, mister. Lane 4 is 7.
7 is a lucky number.
You're clear. No one following.
Why the emergency contact?
2 top agents of the MVD have been smuggled into the country. Their job to close any loopholes in party machinery.
Who are they?
We don't know who they are, what they look like. But so far they've been efficient. Too efficient. 2 of our New York contacts disappeared. There's a chance these agents are here right now. You see them, we want them. Now don't waste any time calling your contact. Anything to report?
No. Okay, you can let me out. Two top agents of the MVD here to check on their own party members. They're never sure of themselves or the people who work for them and with them. For how can you really trust a man who's a traitor to his own country? It's still rather early for my meeting, but there before me is the party headquarters. Outwardly, it resembles some of the other faded and forlorn buildings on the street. But there the resemblance ends. For this building is the nerve center of the entire communist network in this section of the country. This is the American Kremlin. Comrade Barstow? Comrade Barstow! The door to Barstow's office is open. I walk in. Barstow? Not here. Beyond this office, the printing presses. I start to call Barstow's name, but the words choke in my throat. There, above me, dangling like a limp cord of an overhead light, hanging and swaying from a pipe which runs across the ceiling, the body of Comrade Barstow. I look around for the box or platform which he used to raise himself off the ground. But there is none. The floor beneath his swaying feet is clear. This isn't suicide. This is murder.
Hello?
Yes?
Is it done?
Yes. I stagger wildly out of the building, gasping for air. Sure, I'm scared. I didn't recognize that voice on the other end of the phone. Let's hope I wasn't recognized either. Why did I answer it? Call it an automatic reaction. A phone rings, you answer it. Just like you see a body swinging from a pipe and you know it's murder. Except in this case, there's a frame attached to it, and I could be the picture inside. I can't understand why the building is empty. The presses should be rolling a symphony of inky lies, and some of my beloved comrades should be at the door. Of course. This is Sunday, and even a communist sometimes takes advantage of a decadent bourgeois custom, like not working. I walk around the block, and then I spot Comrade Cover, the local party leader, entering the building I just left, the American Kremlin. I wait about 2 minutes, and then I walk back in.
Who's there?
Oh, it's me, Comrade Cvetic.
Quickly, lock the door and come back here.
I had seen only Comrade Kova enter the building, yet...
Comrade Cvetic, this is Colonel Polanski, who is here from Moscow.
It is my privilege.
Open the door to the press room, Comrade Cover, so that Comrade Cvetic may also see.
Barstow? Who did... Either my eyes are playing tricks on me, or else I didn't get a good look the first time. For there, under the swaying feet of Comrade Barstow, is a box.
Yes, Comrade Cvetic. Barstow realized that any weakness in our party structure is dangerous to the entire cause. You may close the door, Comrade Cover.
Comrade Cvetic, Colonel Polanski has asked me to recommend a man to take Bartow's place. I have recommended you.
I'm here to serve.
When the revolution comes, our strength will lie in the instrument of the workers, the trade unions. Your first assignment, Comrade Cvetic, is the shipbuilders' union in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. There's a train which leaves in exactly 40 minutes. You will be on it. Your contact is the waitress in the King Street Diner. Her name, Millicent Johnson. Comrade Cover here will give you specific instructions. About Barstow. You have seen nothing? You know nothing.
Wait for me, Comrade Cvetic. I will accompany you to the station.
Oh, don't bother, Comrade Cover.
No bother, Comrade Cvetic. Who knows when I may see you next?
He helps me pack. He helps me find a cab. He's too much of a help. He's right with me as we enter the railroad station. I buy a ticket, look at the clock. There's less than 10 minutes to train time. 10 minutes in which I should get to a phone and tell the FBI that one of the two MVD agents is right here. But how to do it without arousing suspicion on the part of Comrade Cover, who is being most solicitous and most comradely. Comrade Cover, will you watch my bag while I wash my hands?
Sure, go ahead.
Hello?
3 and 4 are 7.
Comrade Cvetic, whom are you calling?
Oh, I was just checking the time with Meridian. The last thing I see as the train picks up momentum and speeds out of the station is Comrade Cover standing on the platform and smiling goodbye. I've been cornered, boxed and shipped. 8 hours before the train arrives in New York. 8 hours before I can get to a phone, contact the FBI, and tell them the MVD agents have arrived. 8 hours in which Colonel Polanski and the hatchet woman on the phone could be in Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles. You pick the spot. Penn Station, a canyon of noise and activity. I disregard the porter with the outstretched hand waiting to take my bag and head for a telephone booth. I call home to my FBI contact and reverse the charges.
Hello? What are you doing in New York?
I'm on my way to the Brooklyn Navy Yard, replacing a local comrade who was killed.
Details?
August Borstoff, party courier. Murder made to look like suicide. The body was still hanging in the press room when I left 8 hours ago. Be careful how you check it. I don't think anybody knows except myself, Comrade Culver, and one of the 2 MVD agents you're looking for.
Name?
Colonel Polanski. I think his partner is a woman. What's my Brooklyn contact number?
Your Brooklyn contact number is...
What'll it be, mister?
Hello, Millicent.
Hello yourself.
Brooklyn isn't near Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh isn't near Brooklyn. We've been expecting you. The meeting starts in 30 minutes. I finish here in 10. I'll get you a cup of coffee while you're waiting for me.
What about a place to sleep?
We have a room for you.
Hey, Millie, how about some cybers?
Brooklyn headquarters is an innocuous 3-story brownstone, a couple of blocks from the waterfront. A converted rooming house which boards all the local agents. I'll be under constant surveillance here. Is this by design or accident?
Ah, Comrade Millicent. Come in. And this is...
Comrade Cvetic from out of town.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Where is Comrade Aachen?
She's due here any minute.
She, Comrade Smith?
Yes, Comrade Hedvig Aachen, one of our most brilliant party members. Direct from the Stalin Institute.
Are you discussing me?
Ah, Comrade Aachen. This is Comrade Cvetic.
Where is Barstov?
I'm taking his place.
Comrade Smith, how did he get here?
Comrade Millicent brought him.
How do we know he's not an FBI spy?
He identified himself correctly.
So, but how do we know?
Well, this is childish. You can check me whenever you please. I'm here to carry out a mission.
Which is?
The Shipbuilders Union.
I'm satisfied. Comrade Millicent, you have contacted one of the union men?
Yes, Hans Martin. He's been a party member for 2 years, and he's anxious to do what he can.
Comrade Cvetic, this is an important union. They are at work on some vital naval projects. So far, we have only been able to win over Martin. But one man in there is not enough. He will help you join the union.
When do I meet Comrade Martin?
He comes into the diner every day before his shift, around 3:15. You'll be at the diner tomorrow, and I'll introduce you.
There are other items on the agenda, so I just sit back and listen. I listen and look and catalog their faces. What is the connection between Hedvig Aachen and Comrade Barstoff? Was she the voice on the phone?
There being no further business to discuss, the meeting is adjourned.
Comrade Cvetic, may I speak with you alone?
What about?
Alone. Come into the hall.
What's on your mind?
Why did you kill Barstov?
What did you say?
Why did you kill Barstov?
June 11th, 1952, I Was a Communist with the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to MediShare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And MediShare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. MediShare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of I Was a Communist with the FBI and the American Kremlin from June 11th, 1952.
Now back to Dana Andrews, starring as Matt Cvetic in I Was a Communist for the FBI, and the second act of our story.
This was it. Fear again. Fear projected by the cold, deadly, accusing voice of Comrade Hedvig Aachen. Why did you kill Barstov? I had to stall for time. The best defense is an aggressive offense. I grabbed her arm and replied, "What did you say?"
Why did you kill Barstov? Let go of my arm. You're hurting me.
Come on.
Let go. Let go.
What is the meaning of this?
Come on, Comrade Aachen. Repeat what you just asked me.
You fool.
I said repeat what you asked me.
I will hear it from you, Comrade Cvetic.
She asked me why I killed Barstov.
Comrade Aachen, you place yourself in a very bad position with such a question. How many times have you seen Comrade Barstov? And under what circumstances? Was there a romantic attachment
Comrade
between you?
Smith, you exceed yourself.
Comrade Smith, perhaps Comrade Aachen's suspicions might be alleviated by a long-distance phone call. And you might ask Comrade Cover why Colonel Polanski recommended me.
Colonel Polanski? Comrade Smith, I wish to withdraw my charge against Comrade Cvetic. Good night.
The next morning, I use an empty cigarette pack as an excuse to get out of the house and call my Brooklyn contact.
Hello?
3 and 4 are 7.
7 is a lucky number. Have you made contact?
I'm living at local headquarters. Nothing to report as yet. Did you hear from out west?
Party headquarters had a visit from the local building inspector, but everything was in order.
Did they find Barstov's body?
No.
Was Barstov an FBI contact?
No.
Okay, if he were, you wouldn't tell me. Any other contact besides you?
The shoeshine man outside the King Street subway station. Tell him you prefer a red polish. A deep red polish.
3 o'clock, and I'm sitting at a table in the corner of the diner. And over in the opposite corner, a fat, paunchy individual blows the steam off a spoonful of soup. It's during my second cup of coffee that Hans Martin comes over to the table. Sit down.
You're Millie's friend?
And your friend, Hans Martin.
First, we gotta get you into the union. There's a meeting of our shift tonight at 11:30. The business agent for the union will be there. You meet me at 11:30, and I'll introduce you as my cousin.
Where is the meeting?
In the warehouse off Pier 9. And don't worry, nobody will stop you. Just walk past Pier 10 and across the cutover, which you can't miss. Meet me at the entrance to the warehouse.
I walk out of the diner with Hans Martin, walk him partway back to the pier. As we pass the King Street subway station, I say goodbye to him.
Shine, mister?
I start to say yes, but as I look up, I see Colonel Polanski coming out of the subway. He looks straight at me, through me, and around me, and walks on.
Shine, mister?
Well, yeah, I prefer a red polish, a deep red polish. Well, my cab driver from home, how come?
I had a feeling out there that you might be heading into something.
I can't get over the feeling of being watched. I sit back in the shine chair and let my eyes wander. Sure enough, across the street is the fat man who had been blowing steam from his soup spoon in the diner.
Anything to report?
Colonel Polanski.
What about him?
Can't talk, being watched.
There you are, sir. The other shoe, please.
As I walk away from the shoeshine stand, I notice that the fat man has disappeared from the doorway. Rather than walk the 4 blocks back to the party headquarters, I take the trolley. Was the fat man really watching me? Did I do anything to give myself away? Oh, nuts. I'm falling for the old commie trick that the guilty man will always worry. The innocent man will only be confused. As I start up the stairs to the 3-story brownstone, I turn around and freeze. There, across the street, is the fat man. I shut the door behind me and run up the stairs into the meeting room.
Ah, Comrade Cvetic.
Colonel Polanski.
What is it, Comrade Cvetic? You look perturbed.
I think I've been followed. He's right across the street.
Who?
The man who's been following me. Look. Polanski and Smith cautiously move across the room, and through a parting, and the drapes get a good look at the fat man standing on the other side of the street.
Comrade Smith, will you leave us alone?
Yes, Colonel.
But this is no laughing matter.
Easy, Comrade Cvetic, easy.
I watch as Colonel Polanski lowers and raises the window shade twice, and then see the fat man across the street come up the steps and into the brownstone house. A minute later, the door to the room opens again, and he waddles into the room and smiles at me with the lower part of his face. His eyes can never smile.
Kommissar Thuren, this is Comrade Cvetic.
Commissar, I'm honored.
So, it is you who have taken Comrade Bostov's place.
This is the other member of the two-man team from the MVD. This is the voice on the telephone.
I watched you handle your contact in the diner, and I'm very pleased to know that we have such workers in the party.
Good. Comrade Cvetic, what have you arranged?
I'm to meet Hans Martin on the pier tonight at 11:30. He's introducing me as his cousin to the business agent of the union. I should have no trouble.
I think there may be trouble. June 11th, 1952, I Was a Communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of I Was a Communist with the FBI, the American Kremlin. This was from June 11th, 1952.
My dear comrade, but the test of a good agent is to always be prepared for trouble. Colonel Polanski will accompany you. In the meantime, I suggest you get some sleep. You look tired.
At exactly 11, Colonel Polanski knocks on the door of my room and takes me down to the car he has rented especially for the occasion. He opens the back door for me, and there is Commissar Thuren.
Oh, come in quickly, Comrade Cvetic. The night air is a bit cold. Comrade Cvetic, you wonder why a commissar and a colonel should accompany you on such a routine matter.
My duty is not to wonder, just to obey.
Very convincing, Comrade Cvetic. You should not have run out of the building where you found Bostov's body after you spoke to me on the phone. Oh, yes, do not look startled. It was you. And you should not have entered the building a second time and acted as if it were the first time you had seen the body of Comrade Bostov. And finally, You should not have called the FBI.
This is some sort of joke. I don't get it.
Oh, come now, Comrade Cvetic, spy, traitor, fascist tool of the FBI. Let us put an end to pretenses.
If as you say, I am an agent for the FBI, why do you accompany me to my meeting with Hans Martin? Why don't you just kill me now?
You have an appointment with him. If you do not appear, he will ask questions.
Commissar, we are approaching Pier 10.
Turn your lights off.
Why was Comrade Barstow killed?
Let us say he served the cause.
Served the cause?
Yes. To trap any traitors in our ranks. And we did trap you, didn't we? I shall put it all in my report tomorrow. Moscow will be pleased. Bear in mind that Colonel Polanski and I are both armed. Now we shall get out and keep our date with Hans Martin.
The shrill whistle of the tugs, a basso boom of the larger vessels are playing a funeral dirge across the night winds of the Brooklyn waterfront, carrying the coffin to its final resting place. You think you get accustomed to staring death in the face only.
Where's that light coming from?
Drop your guns.
An FBI trap.
This is my cue. I make a dive for shelter behind some piling. I miss my target. Find myself choking. The water drags me down, choking, gasping, fighting my way up. I break for air. I hear the barking of guns punctuating the stillness of the night. There's an eerie quiet, and then...
Cvetic, are you all right?
Just a little wet, that's all.
Here, grab this rope and I'll pull you out.
Thanks. Where are Turin and Polanski?
We've got them.
Are they dead?
I don't know. The boys will find out.
How did you manage to get here?
We've had a stakeout on local headquarters ever since you arrived. The shoeshine man reported your contact, and when you got in the car tonight, we just followed. Did anybody else know of their suspicion?
I don't think so. But I'm supposed to meet a party member on Pier 9 at 11:30. What time is it?
Well, that's the 11:30 break now.
What do I do?
Tell him you slipped and fell overboard to explain your wetsuit. We'll take care of Polanski and Turin. Well, what are you waiting for?
As I make my way to Pier 9, the calm of the waterfront is as before. As if those gunshots had never been. As if Polanski and Turin had never been. But there will always be more Polanskis and more Turins. For this fight I'm in is a lonely fight. An undercover man who must forsake his friends and family for the false friendship of the comrades in the party. I must continue this fight alone as I walk alone. This is Dana Andrews with a word about the story you've just heard. In this episode, as in all others, names, dates, and places are fictitious to protect innocent people. However, party headquarters, described as the American Kremlin, did exist, and similar places will continue to operate in this country until we won the fight against communism. Next week, another exciting adventure based on Matt Cvetic's experience as an undercover man, a communist for the FBI. So join us, won't you?
June 11th, 1952, I Was a Communist with the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of the soap opera Claudia, June 11th, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
La 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 da dee dee dee. Claudia, why are you so fidgety?
Who's fidgety?
You are fidgety.
Am I? I hadn't noticed me.
You've been walking up and down this room like a lion in a cage.
Have I?
Look, you were on the verge of biting your fingernails.
I never bite my fingernails.
Exactly. So far, you haven't gotten beyond the verge. What are you expecting out of that window?
I'm not expecting anybody out of this window, especially.
Then you are expecting something.
I didn't say that.
All right, have it your way. If you want to be secretive, I'm not curious.
Mama, what time is it?
Just 5 minutes later than it was 5 minutes ago.
Now, that's a nice to-the-point answer. What time is it now?
25 minutes of 7, and all is well.
Oh, that's what you think.
It'll be time for dinner pretty soon. Why don't you go up and wash?
Oh, we're not having dinner until later.
Since when? And how much later?
Oh, I thought we'd eat around 7:45 tonight for a change.
Oh, that's interesting. Why the change?
Mama, you're prying.
I'm not prying. I'm bursting. I know there's a secret around here someplace, and if I don't find it out soon...
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind having somebody to talk to.
Here I am.
You're a fine one. You're always telling me I'm nosy. Look at you. Your nose is as long as the handle of a broom.
I don't see why I have to be insulted in the bargain. But if you want to carry around your secret, grow old before your day, get wrinkles around your eyes, pace up and down this room until I'm dizzy, so be it. I was only offering you a little solace and my motherly bosom in which to confide.
Well, all right. Maybe it would help to confide in someone. Anyone.
But you don't have to if you don't want to.
I want to.
Well?
Where is David?
Are you changing the subject?
It's a part of the subject. Where is David?
He's out walking with young Jeffrey.
Oh, good heavens, those two. No grass is going to grow around here if they keep walking so much.
It's nice to see them together. David's been like a father to that boy.
He's loved it.
Still, a boy's real father is better.
That's what I thought when I...
You told me you were going to tell me. Remember?
Where is Mrs. Killian?
Claudia, I am not a witness on the stand. This is not 20 questions. You were going to tell me what's on your mind.
She's still upstairs resting?
I think so.
She and Jeffrey get along like mother and son today, don't they?
Not very surprising, considering that's what they are.
But they weren't really, till today. To think that I brought them together.
Pretty wonderful of you.
I think so. Here for 16 years, they've been more like aunt and nephew, and one night under our roof...
I know, like mother and son. Now, Claudia, I'm ready to listen.
To what, Mama? I've been talking.
I give up. I'm not curious anymore. I'm just plain exhausted. Even if you were to tell me your great, wonderful secret, I wouldn't be interested.
It's not great, and it's not big, and it's not wonderful. Mama, I did something awful today.
Is that so unusual?
But this is especially awful. This was the sort of thing a maiden aunt would do, or a meddling sister-in-law.
You're making great sense.
I am. That's the worst part of it.
Well, meddling aunt, what was it? And mind you, this is the last time I'm going to ask.
Mama, I called up Roger.
Roger Killian?
Yeah.
What's so terrible about that?
I called him up in Chicago.
That's a little extravagant, but not a crime.
Oh, you haven't heard the half of it.
The other half is an awful long time in coming.
I told him to get on an airplane and come here right away.
Come here? To Eastbrook?
Yes.
But, Claudia, Mrs. Killian is here.
I know.
And you know that Roger and Mrs. Killian, well, they aren't exactly anxious to see each other.
I know that, too.
Well, no wonder you're fidgety. Now, I'll be on the verge of biting my nails.
I thought that maybe if Roger and Mrs. Killian met under our roof, they'd sort of be like husband and wife again. And if they would, it would be marvelous because Jeffrey really needs a father and mother more than anything. Mama, don't just sit there. Say something.
I have nothing to say.
Well, I don't see what's so terrible about what I've done. After all, I can invite people to my own house, can't I?
I thought I'd brought you up to mind your own business.
All I did was put 2 and 2 together.
2 and 2 have nothing to do with it. You're trying to put a man and his wife together. A man and his wife who are old enough to know whether they want to be together or not.
That's just it. I don't think they do know. They haven't been together for such a long time. Maybe they've forgotten how nice it is.
Don't judge everybody else by your own experience. Your husband happens to be a very patient and understanding man.
Oh, I knew you'd be angry with me. And if you're angry with me, you can just imagine what David will be.
Livid.
I don't know how to tell him.
Just tell him.
David hates meddlers, and I promised him on the altar I wasn't one, but, well, I just couldn't help myself. I think it's miserable for Roger and his wife not to have a home when they have such a nice son as Jeffrey.
Claudia, has it ever occurred to you that maybe Mr. and Mrs. Killian are happier apart than together?
Of course it occurred to me. What do you think I am?
I'd rather not say.
They're both so nice. Mrs. Killian's really very nice, too. When you get behind the part of her that isn't so nice. And they're both lonesome. So I thought I'd give them half a chance.
You're giving them more than half a chance. You're giving them a whole chance. Did you tell Roger that he'd find his wife here?
No, but I was going to, but I didn't.
Oh, this is all very cute. Well, when is Roger getting here?
Oh, it's time I went to the station. Maybe I should just sort of sneak in the car and drive off without telling David.
2 wrongs don't make a right. You know you're not allowed to drive the car anymore.
You're a big help. Why can't you drive?
Thank goodness I never learned.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, David.
Now, what's the matter with you two? You look as if you'd been discovered planning a murder or
Now,
something.
that's a silly thing to say.
Remarkably observant of you, David.
David,
Hmm?
are you doing anything now?
I am about to light my pipe.
I mean, are you doing anything important?
Are you insulting my pipe again?
I mean, do you mind lighting it in the car?
Is that where the matches are?
Oh, you're a big help, too. You're so silly. David, how would you like to take me for a drive?
Isn't it time for dinner?
Heavens, no, why, it's early.
Claudia means dinner's late tonight.
Oh, it is? Why?
Because I want to go for a drive with my husband in the car. What's so awful about that?
It's a little unusual. I'm hungry.
Oh, you can munch a piece of Zwieback on the way.
On the way where, Zwieback?
On the way. On the drive that we're going to take.
Are
You
you
don't
trying to tell me something?
Oh, you're so bright. I'm trying to tell you that I need some toothpaste, so I want to go downtown.
Well, I'll go and take your teeth with me, or we'll go after dinner.
Let's go, and I go now?
Our teeth can wait.
Oh, you're impossible. Here, I throw myself at your feet. I propose that you take me for a little drive, just the two of us, with a little privacy, and you reject me. I am offended.
Mother, your daughter is nuts.
This is only the beginning, David. Do me a favor, take her out of here.
Thank you, Mama.
Well, I don't like to hurt her feelings and make her think I don't want to be in her company, so all right, let's drive.
Phew.
But no monkey business.
Here we go, Mama.
You still haven't told him, Mrs. Badinsky.
I wish I knew how I were going to.
I would like to see the scene at the station. That's something I'd really like to see.
Maybe that's it, Mama. Maybe I shouldn't tell him. Maybe I should just lead him by the nose to the station and let it all happen right there in front of him. You don't mind if we just sit here at the station a few minutes, do you, David?
Oh, no. No place I'd rather be sitting than in front of Eastbrook Station. I mean,
It's such a nice station to sit in front of.
oh, yes, it's lovely. What are we doing here?
Just sitting.
Darling, I am not a half-wit.
You're not?
No. I'm not deaf and dumb and blind. I know something is cooking, and if you don't confess, I'll wring your neck.
David, did you hear a train?
Who are we expecting?
Why do we have to expect somebody? Don't you just
No.
like driving me?
We bought the toothpaste. We had a lovely drive with you staring out the windows if you expected to see ghosts.
Oh, not ghosts.
It was charming, yes.
I wish I were going to see a ghost. Anything would be better than...
Then who?
David, whatever you're suspicious of, you're right.
Claudia, I know I'm brilliant. I know I'm the most understanding husband in the world. I know I can usually guess just exactly what you're thinking. And I pledge you I won't be angry. So get it off your chest.
Not my chest, it's my conscience. Do you hear a train?
Well, if it's a train that's on your conscience, no wonder you're finding it difficult to talk.
There it is. I knew I heard it.
Well, darling, you don't have to look so upset.
Oh.
If you've invited someone up here for a weekend, it's perfectly all right with me.
Now, you won't forget that, will you? Promise.
And if it's a surprise, I'm sure it's a good one. And nothing for you to worry about.
Well, hold on to your hat.
Come on, darling. Quick, tell me. Who is it we're meeting at the station? I don't want to act like an unwelcome host.
Oh, it's somebody you like very, very much.
Fine.
As a matter of fact, it's somebody you know very, very well.
Good.
As a matter of fact, it's Roger.
Roger?
David, please don't look like that.
You invited Roger
Why
here?
not? You invited him here lots of times yourself.
I know, but this is a lot different. His wife's here. You know they don't exactly spend so much time together.
Well, his son is here, too, and it's about time they did.
So, this was the big plot.
David, you'll help me, won't you?
You got into this yourself, now you help yourself.
You see, I thought that if Roger and his wife could sort of meet under our roof, well, they could sort of see how nice it is to be under one roof.
I always thought there was a fair resemblance between you and Cupid.
There he is now getting off the train.
Did you tell him that Mrs. Killian was here?
Well, I thought you'd rather tell him that.
Coward.
Well, you're so much closer to him than I am, and when a man meddles, it never seems just like meddling, does it? Oh, Roger, here we are.
He's going to get his bags. He'll be right with us soon enough. Now, don't
David,
rush.
I feel devastated. I feel as if I'd done something awful. I feel as if I put the mouse in a trap.
Well, that's where mice belong.
But is Roger going to mind being a mouse?
I think in the end, Roger might even be grateful for the trap you've set.
You do?
Now, this is no suggestion for what you're to do at this sort of thing again, but for once, I take off my hat to you.
Oh, David. I've been so worried. I've been acting like such a big cheese.
Well, every trap must have its cheese, and I've always been very fond of cheese.
Even still?
Especially still. And, darling, if you work as hard on our marriage as you have on Roger's, life is going to be very, very sweet.
Life will be, darling, because you are. Come on, let's go meet Roger. And you can tell him about his wife. Dum 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 la 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 la.
Within the last few years, more and more factories and offices have installed Coca-Cola coolers so that people on the job can work refreshed. But many homemakers forget that they too deserve the pause that refreshes. You use up a lot of energy at your household tasks, and it's a good idea to stop for ice-cold refreshment. Moreover, it takes just a few minutes if the refrigerator is well stocked with Coke. Bring a carton home from the store today and supply your home cooler with delicious enjoyment.
Mr. King. Oh, Mr. King, how did everything go at the station?
Oh, smooth as pie, Mrs. Brown.
That daughter of mine, she'll give me heart failure one of these days. The things she does. Imagine inviting Mr. Killian up here and not telling anyone.
So far, so good. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens.
I hope the results are worth the anguish. It's going to be quite a weekend with Mr. and Mrs. Killian and Jeff all in the house.
Well, I wish I could be here to see it, but the best I can do is to say that I'll be back on Monday.
By Monday, Mr. King, the die will be cast. Or the cast will be dead.
Well, that's what I'll be here to find out. See you then, and good luck.
Thank you. We'll all need it.
From June 11th, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Would you do me a favor and thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And, of course, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. Our shows are available through Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, other places. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And you can also find our shows at my webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, find our social media links. You can even buy me a coffee if you want to. You can do that at classicradio.stream. Have a good day. Tell all your friends that great radio shows are here on the dial. This spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. I need some coffee.